Kakadosh, Boker Or, Bekiim Halacha 3, day 74, page 155, Halacha Het. Tzitzit, Shasal Goy, Pasul. Okay, so if the tzitzit is done by a goy, we're talking about that he was the one that did the strings, yeah? So it's going to be pasul. Dichtiv, it says in pasuk, daber b'nei Yisrael. Well, you have to speak to b'nei Yisrael, and they're going to do the tzitzit lapuki goy, and this comes to exclude goy. But filu Yisrael omer goy, even if the Jew is mamash on top of him, and he's telling him to do a l'shem mitzvah tzitzit, eno mu'il, it doesn't help. Okay? 185 says, this is the ruling in the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch based on the Gemara Menachot. Okay? V'ima Yisrael, right? Now he says that even if he's going to be omer al gabav, so he says, regarding the fact, the act of spinning the wool into the tzitzit strands, the halacha follows the ruling of the Rosh, that he says that a non-Jew can do it. Okay, as long as the Jew is there telling him to do lishma. But regarding to actually the attaching the strands, the halacha is more stringent. Meaning, you could tell him to come and to make the actual, how do you call this? The spinning of the wool. But the actual putting them on the tzitzit, that no. Okay? ואם הישראל הטיל הציצית בבגד וקרח החוליה הראשונה והשני קשרים והשני קשרים של גביו ואחר כך אמר הגוי ישר חולם כשר כיוון שהם אין רק למצווה בעלמא. Means like this. Technically speaking, what happens if the Jew did the first part? He put it inside, he did the double knot, he did the chuliot, and then a double knot. And now the goy finished it off, kosher. Why? Because that was just for the mitzvah. The rest of it is just the mitzvah. Okay, 187, this is ruling the Mishnah Berurah, the Kavachaim, right? Okay, fine. Next. Even though a woman is permitted, just like Manan and Shulchan Aruch is going to be posek, the Chatchila you should be machmir that dafka man should do it, right? Velo isha. However, the b'diavad that she already did it, it's going to be kosher. That a woman is going to be kosher for sure to spin them together, and all the deot are going to be masculine. That means one more time, mi'ikaradin, it's kosher for a woman to do it, and therefore if she already did it, it's kosher. But lechatchila not to do it. Now, why was this a big nafkamina? Rav Asher Weiss had a big tshuva on this, basically based upon the Shulchan Aruch, because now when they needed them in Gaza, right, when all the soldiers were asking for tzitziot, there was too much demand, and there was not enough tzitziot. So there was a whole question: are women permitted to come and to do it? So technically, you just learned it here. Mikaradin, women are permitted, but lechatchila get a man. But if they already did it, it's kosher. So the question is, what about time of war? Was that going to be permitted or not permitted? In a sense, so that was the whole question. Right? So the Rabbeinu Tam comes and he says, based on the Gemara Gittin, that a woman may not attach tzitzit. He explains that since women are not obligated in tzitzit, so they're not obligated. But he offered a different source for the halacha. He says it's from the choice of the words, the Bnei Yisrael. When it said Bnei Yisrael, it's only the men, suggesting that only the men are the ones that make the tzitziot. The Biur Halacha suggests that according to Rabbeinu Tam's reason, women should be disqualified for making a sukkah as well. Right, but according to Maran Northmorg, it should be mutar. Most of the Shonim, however, ruled that women may attach it. And the Betzim Maran concluded the discussion by testifying the common custom follows the lenient opinion since it's the majority of the opinion. His ruling the Shulchan Aruch, the Rama agreed that technically that it's like that, but he recommended that it's better to be stringent that a man should do it. The Ben Ish Chai also said likewise one should make sure that the tzitzit are attached by a man. Although he agreed that if a woman did it, it's kosher. And the Rishon Tzion also said the same thing. Of course, they're obligated in mitzvot. Whatever they're obligated in, for sure they could do it. You understand? They're obligated in it. So why not follow Maran's ruling? Despite the recommendation of Ben Ish Chai, Kaf HaChaim, and the Lichot Olam, the Hechal Berurah ruled that if someone wishes to rely upon Maran's leniency, he may do so. Apparently, the stringent attitude of the other poskim is simply a safeguard about maybe what's going to happen is that the true halacha follows Rabbeinu Tam's opinion. Besides, it is not a difficulty to be stringent. What about coaching a woman? Since the Rama ruled that one should avoid having a woman to do it, the Mishnah Berurah added that this is the rule even if the man is there and telling her what to do. If a woman does attach it, they are kosher even if no one's coaching her. Nobody's on top of her. Okay, she's believed to say that she did it with the correct intention. What about if a man began to do it? So it's explained, I mean, the man began and then the woman did it. So it was explained in Halacha 8 that if a Jew starts it and then the non-Jew continues, it's kosher. The language of the poskim indicates, however, that this is not ideal and it should be avoided. The Hechal Berurah ruled that regarding a woman, if a man did it, for sure a woman could do the rest of it. So that's a way to get out of it, meaning that you always have, let's say, the husband starting it. He does the beginning one of each one, boom, to the woman. Then, boom, continues going. And then you have, let's say, he's got a few women, and they're doing the rest of it. And by doing that, you get out of the problem. Right? Next, Halacha Yod. Lechatchila yatil gadol atzitzit babeged, velo katan mitachal legil mitzot. Who's the one that does it? It should be a gadol. It shouldn't be a katan. That if the katan did it, it's going to be kasherat libracha. It's going to be kosher even to make a bracha. The Magen Avraham, 189 in the bottom. The Magen Avraham asserted that the halacha regarding a child attaching the tzitzit to the talit is the same as of a woman, meaning the Maran permits it and the Ramah recommends avoiding it. This seems to be the position of Maran and Shalom Tzion as well, since in Alichot Olam he ruled that a 13-year-old boy may attach tzitzit, inferring that if he's less than 13, no. The Ratzot HaChaim, however, ruled that we may be more lenient regarding a child than a woman, and it's perfectly permissible for a child to do it. He pointed out that Rishonim offer two reasons not to allow a woman. Rabbi Nutam taught because women are exempt from tzitzit, right? And this could apply to children as well, because they're not obligated. And Rotenburg, however, taught that women are disqualified because the Torah prefers Bnei Yisrael. So according to that, a boy is still Bnei Yisrael. So despite this, the Mishabra ruled that we should avoid allowing a child to do the tzitziot. This is likewise the ruling of the Yalkut Yosef. On the end of the scale, Mishkenot Yaakov ruled that although the Ramah said that a woman could attach it, it's still kosher. If a child does it, it's not kosher at all. So you have like all the spectrums. You have everybody there. You have people saying that lechatchila he could do it, even more than a woman. You have no, that it's like a woman, and you have no, that he's even pasul. Okay, then you're not supposed to do it whatsoever. Okay, fine. Next. Okay. The next one is, this was to do with children's intentions. So he says, the Bahalacha added that if a child attaches tziyot to talit, it's kosher only if the adult coached the child, reminding him to have in mind if he's going to be tying it for the sake of mitzvah, l'shem mitzvot tzitzit. He added, although the Chayei Adam did not mention it specifically, right, is ruling that a child may tie the tzitzit to the talit is true only if an adult coached him, as explained here. Furthermore, he questioned the lenient ruling of the Ratzot HaChaim, right? Since regarding baking matzah for the Seder night, he says it's best to have a child participate even if the adult is there coaching him. In light of this, if a child ties the tzitzit, it's going to be kosher only if the adult was coaching him. Remember, the coaching is meaning he's telling him to do l'shem mitzvah tzitzit. Okay, now that this has been established, it's difficult to accept the ruling of the Yalkut Yosef that if a child attached it, it's going to be kosher even if there was nobody coaching. Why? It shouldn't work. Fine, Halacha Yud Aleph. Yeah, Halacha Yud Aleph says, Nar shegiya l'shosh shel yom echad, ach lo nivdak im yavish tesaro, kasher af lechatchila. Right, v'lechatchila tzirik she'yisel omer legabav, v'milamdo la'asol lishma. So he says, what happens if he's 13 years old, but they never checked if he has 2 pubic hairs? Lechatchila, you could be lenient. Okay, 190, 191. This is based upon the Gemara Chazakah Derav. The Rishon LeZion demonstrated that the practice we may rely on this principle. Furthermore, there are poskim that say that a child is superior to a woman regarding the act of putting tzitzit, as explained in the previous already footnote. Besides that, the Maran ruled that both women and children may do it without any problem. Therefore, if the child has his birthday, we're going to say, listen, there's a chazakah that he already has 2 pubic hairs, and that's it. 191 says, Mishabra ruled that although a 13-year-old boy may attach the tzitzit, right, he says, the may attach tzitzit to a talit, there must be an adult there coaching him. If he did it without the adult, and he claims that he had the proper intentions, we may assume that it was going to be kosher. If a child younger than that does it, so then no, we cannot assume that. The Lechabra states that if a child attaches tzitzit to the talit, it's going to be kosher, only if the adult was coaching him. He failed to mention that an adult coach is necessary even for a 13-year-old. Fine. Number 12, right? Once a child, okay, right? Once you have a child that he's chinuch age, he could put a tzitzit on his own clothing, on his own talit, right? His own tzitzit, he could put it. Even if he becomes a gadol, he could continue wearing that tzitzit, right? He doesn't have to take it off and put it back on. But the avad, we're going to be machshir maseh katan even for a gadol. So let's see in the 192. Although the halacha is that one should not allow a child to do the tzitzit, but that's only for an adult. But if the child is doing it for himself, for sure there's not going to be a problem. 193, the Mishabra explained that the child may continue to use his own talit even after he becomes bar mitzvah, and it's not necessary for him to do it again. Okay, now that the tassel has already been attached, at a time when it's going to be permitted, we no longer take Rabbi Nutam's opinion into account, right? And of course, right, so according to the halachas to explain the blav, it's always necessary to have an adult coach him to make sure that he's doing it lishma. Since there must be an adult coach, we should need the testimony of the adult and not rely upon the child's memory. If there was no adult coach, then obviously you wouldn't need, right, to do it again, basically. Okay? But then we can't rely upon the child at all. Fine. Preparing a talit for bar mitzvah, based upon the above discussion, becomes clear that a child may not attach a tzitzit if he plans to wear it only for his bar mitzvah, because then he's a child doing it for when he's older. Meaning, if he's a child and he's doing it for now, and then he continues when he's older, then it's fine. But if he's right now and he wants to do it for his bar mitzvah, it doesn't work. Okay, so that does not work, because it's going to be the first time. Halacha Yud Gimel, the last one. מותר לסומה להטיל ציציות על הטלית של האחרים, הואיל והסומה חייב בנטיצת ציצית, כפי שבלקמה מסימן י"ז. A blind man may attach a tzitziot. Why? But since he's obligated in tzitzit, so he could do it for other people. I mean, even though it could be that he's not, but we rely upon him that he's doing it for the mitzvah lishma, and there's no problem whatsoever.